Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoot, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 7, week number 11, and we're taking on the San Diego Snorlax, aka, coached by Corey, aka Snorlaxus. So he's got a pretty threatening squad, and we have a pretty threatening squad as well, in my opinion. We are, we are clinched for playoffs, so this battle isn't, too important for us. My opponent is actually fighting for a playoff position, and he's likely a playoff, opponent. So that being said, same as last week, and if you follow my IDM run, when you're playing in a competitive league and you're going to have a rematch, you don't want to necessarily bring your best sets in the first game, or maybe you do, and you want to see how your opponent, maybe you force your opponent to run some gimmicks or something like that to beat you because your prep was so good for the first time or something like that. Either way, I have the mindset where I'm not going to bring my best team the first matchup, and then in the second matchup, a potential second matchup, I'm more inclined to bring my very best team. That being said, we do have a squad here that's pretty fun and at the same time very viable versus my opponent. So my opponent has Salamence. He has Salamence, which is a Z-move user, I think, and Toxicroak, which is a Z-move user. I think that's his two Z-move users. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. Anyways, my opponent has Salamence, Mega Diancie, Scizor, Tangrowth, Porygon 2, Jolteon, Quagsire, Azelf, Umbreon, Volcanion, and the Toxicroak. We have Weavile, Tapu Fini, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Heatran, Serena, Haxorus, Mega Medicham, Licky Licky, and the Palossand. So pretty threatening squads on both sides. And our Z-move users are Haxorus and Palossand. So while a potential Z-move Haxorus is very good against my opponent, and Weavile looks solid versus my opponent as well, outside of things like Scizor and Umbreon, I felt like bringing, this more of a. You'll see here in a second. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Actually, so we have this Tapu Fini here. It's a kind of a defensive set. It's kind of my check to Salamence. Misty Surge negates, the Dragon for grounded opponents. Obviously, Mince isn't grounded, but it's still nice to have a Fairy type and hits hard with Moonblast. Have enough SPDF investment to take on other things like Mega Diancie and Azelf as well as being able to click taunt. I got Smart Strike. It's just a tech for Mega Diancie, just something I wanted to run. Knockoff for Porygon 2, Tangrowth, things like that, and then Moonblast and Taunt just for general stab and utility. Can taunt things like Scizor, Tangrowth, Porygon 2, Quagsire, Umbreon, all kinds of different things that I can just click taunt, prevent them from doing what they normally do. And I thought that this was a pretty cool bring. And next up, we're going to have our Nidoqueen here with the Shuka Berry. Basically, with max SPDF, we're able to actually take an Earth Power into Earth Power from Mega Diancie, even without a SPDF boosting nature. So we're actually able to give ourselves a defense boosting nature with ADVs in defense, so that we can actually take hits from Salamence, Scizor, and Toxicroak a little bit better as well. So pretty cool set here. We have Stealth Rocks and Earth Power, basically bops everything, and then what Earth Power doesn't hit, Ice Beam bops the Mints, and the Flamethrower is going to bop the Scizor. Obviously, I don't hit Azelf that hard, but I have ways around that, as you'll see in a minute. And yeah, just my designated Stealth Rocker and Mega Diancie check. So I guess we can move on to Heatran, which is a Choice Scarf, Hidden Power Ice, and Toxic set with Flash Cannon and Fire Blast. So my opponent's more than likely going to, switch something like Porygon 2 or Quagsire or Volcanion in on this thing. I like to bop it with the Toxic and then switch out accordingly. Obviously, if Misty Terrain is up, I won't be able to poison anything, but that'll be okay. I can work around that as well. And then Flash Cannon, Choice Scarf Flash Cannon with a Modest Nature does quite a bit to my opponent's team once things like Quagsire and Volcanion are gone. And then Scizor doesn't want to stay in on a Heatran anyway. So I can bop that with the Flash Cannon later on. I do have the Hidden Power Ice for the Salamence specifically. If it wants to come in and try to force me out, or it's already in and thinks it's got a sweep, I can bring in the Heatran and it can reveal its Earthquake, but I'm going to bop it with Hidden Power Ice first and things like that. I do outpace Mega Diancie with this spread, and I think I outspeed Jolteon with this spread as long as I have my Choice Scarf intact. But yeah, that's going to be it for Heatran. Nice little Choice Scarf tech there. And now we have we have this S7W11 Haxorus, which is my Volcanion switch in. It takes Steam Eruptions, it takes Flamethrowers, Fire Blast, Overheats, whatever, you know, whatever it wants to go for. And I thought about running Tapu Fini as my check to Volcanion, but Volcanion gets Sludge Bomb, and like Choice Spec Sludge Bomb is going to be hurting really bad. I don't want to take those, continuously switch in on that, and have to take U-turns from Scizor, and have to take Salamence's Z-Fly potentially, or something like that. So I decided to make a whole new check to Volcanion in the form of Haxorus. So we got the Unnerve here so that we can prevent, you know, Scizor from eating Occa Berries, Volcanion from eating Shuca Berries and things like that, and bop them with the Incinerate and the Earthquake. And we got the Dragon Claw for just general stab. It hits the Salamence pretty hard. It hits the Porygon 2 and the Quagsire the hardest. And I can taunt things. Same thing as Tapu Fini. Can taunt all those mons that like Toxicroak, prevent it, well, not Toxicroak, but can prevent Umbreon from passing Wishes, Quagsire from recovering up or throwing off a Toxic, Porygon 2 from click and recover and all that. That being said, our next Pokemon is Mega Medicham, and we have a substitute 3-attack set here with max attack, max speed with the Jolly Nature, so that we can speed tie with Salamence before a Dragon Dance, and then Bullet Punch is there for the Mega Diancie only. Drain Punch hits literally everything else outside of the Azelf and the Toxicroak, which is Toxicroak's bought by the Zen Headbutt. And like I mentioned, Azelf is not taking damage from Nidoqueen, not taking too much damage from Mega Medicham, but at the same time, it's not like a defensive Pokemon in its own right anyway. So I'm going to be able to wear it down over time with things like Heatran, Nidoqueen, Mega Medicham, Tapu Fini. I got Knockoff on Tapu Fini. Knockoff into Moonblast should knock out a non-bulky Azelf anyway. And yeah, that's going to be it. So it should open up holes for Mega Medicham to come in and clean house. Last but not least, we have this Life Orb Licky Licky with 4 attacks. We have enough attack investment so that Knockoff and Gyro Ball are going to be 2-hit KOing, or Oko and Mega Diancie and Azelf. Flamethrower and Ice Beam with this Quiet Nature allows Salamence and Scizor drop after Stealth Rocks unless they are like bulky invested or have like a berry, Yachi or Occa Berry. And then Knockoff actually helps versus Tangrowth. Knockoff into Ice Beam versus Tangrowth is pretty nice. Knockoff versus Porygon 2 is really nice. And then just getting rid of other Pokemon's items is really nice in general. Yeah, so 4 attacks, no Wish, no Protect, no Curse, nothing like that this week. Just straight up 4 attacks, Licky Licky with the Life Orb. So yeah, looking really forward to this matchup. And we'll go ahead and hop into the replay and we'll be right back. So here we are in the replay, and my opponent chooses to bring the Scizor, Azelf, Volcanion, Toxicroak, Porygon 2, and the Mega Diancie. So no Salamence, I noticed that right off the bat, and no Jolteon, which I also noticed right off the bat. Some other threats that my opponent didn't bring. He didn't bring the Tangrowth or the Umbreon, which were annoying, or the Quagsire. But he does bring the Mega Diancie, the Scizor, and the Azelf, the Porygon 2, Toxicroak, and the Volcanion. Scary squad, but like I mentioned, we have a scary squad as well, so his prep has to be, on point, or just, it's just like, he has to have prepared well, is what I'm saying. And my opponent is a very solid player at the same time, as well as, knowing the concept of draft format in and out. So really excited for this matchup. We'll go ahead and hop into the we'll hop into the preview and we'll talk about this. So my opponent's only 2 Stealth Rockers are Azelf and Mega Diancie. So one of those 2 are going to be more than likely his lead. I felt like leading Tapu Fini was an okay lead for me. And if my opponent leads with, whatever my opponent leads with, I can just click Knockoff. Unless he leads with the Mega Diancie, which I would just click Smart Strike. Also, if my opponent leads with, Mega Scizor or not Mega, but regular Scizor or Porygon 2, I can just click Knockoff, get rid of their items. If he leads with the Toxicroak, I can just click the Moonblast. He would more than likely not want to risk a potential, I think, speed tie. And then Volcanion doesn't necessarily want to take a Nature's Madness. So I felt like Tapu Fini was a pretty solid lead here and could deter rocks and stuff like that. So my opponent's going to lead with the Azelf. And my play here is just Knockoff. and my opponent actually clicks Nasty Plot and reveals to be a Focus Sash variant. And he's going to go for the Psyshock here, not knowing that, you know, I'm nearly max defense. Able to knock him out with the Moonblast, just pick him off there. And I'm able to switch out right into my Haxers here, knowing that, you know, this is my check to the Volcanion. I'm going to click Earthquake here and break his sub, and I reveal to be faster, which is pretty nice, despite, I think, having a negative speed nature. And I'm going to click Earthquake here again as he brings in the Scizor. And I'm just going to go ahead and bop this thing as well with the Incinerate, which is nice. Nice little tech there. And he goes for the U-turn, getting some big chip damage off. But I do have leftovers, so I'm able to get a little bit of recovery back here and there. So first he's going to go for the first I'm going to go for the Earthquake as he clicks sub. I'm going to break his sub and then hard switch into Licky Licky. And now here's where I'm going to take almost half from the Moonblast and reveal that I'm either max defense or I'm a very offensive Licky Licky. And now I get Gyro Ball, which is totally dope, and I can knock this thing out right here. And I'm going to go ahead and go for it, hoping my opponent doesn't expect it or expects maybe a like an Ice Beam or a Wish or a Protect or something and goes for another sub. I'm just going to click that Gyro Ball once again and see what I can do here to my opponent as he does switch out and goes into the Toxicroak. And I get a nice almost 40% off with that Gyro Ball, revealing to be quite offensive. And I did reveal Life Orb as well. Here I'm going to switch into my Nidoqueen and take this opportunity to just go ahead and click Earth Power, knock that bad boy out. See, he didn't have a switch in at this point, so I figured I would just go ahead and click Earth Power and then get my rocks up on the following turn. So, as I get my rocks up, my opponent, see, I knew that if I took a Tri-Attack, I would be fine. Now, if I took an Ice Beam, that would be a little bit different. Ice Beam or Surf or some kind of super effective attack. It would be a little bit different, but I knew I could take a Tri-Attack here. And as long as I don't get burned or frozen, I would be 100% fine at this point. So that I could later take a hit from Mega Diancie. At this point, with my HP investment and SPDF investment and the Sugar Berry, I can still take a Earth Power from Mega Diancie. So I don't want to take any more damage. I've got my rocks up and I've got a little bit of chip on the Porygon too. So at this point, I'm just going to switch back out into my Licky Licky and sack this thing off. He's revealed his offense, or I've revealed my offensive set. Not going to be able to pick up a kill with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and sack that thing off. Go out into my Mega Medicham and knowing that he wants to keep his Porygon 2 to take a hit from, you know, at least Nidoqueen, I'm just going to click sub here. And behind my sub, he brings in Volcanion, and I'm just going to knock that thing out. He goes for the Sucker Punch here, as I'm going to go for the Zen Headbutt. And unfortunately, I miss, and this is going to turn the entire game around. Now, whilst this hacks may not sound like much, it forces a 50-50 on the following turn, which, you know, not only has me mind boggled already, you know, I'm already frustrated that I missed, and now I'm forced into a 50-50, whereas this thing should be gone. And then Mega Diancie drops to Bullet Punch, Porygon 2 drops to Drain Punch, Mega Scizor comes in and it's at, what, 12%, and then I can switch into Heatran and knock it out, whatever. He can't, there's just no, at this point there was, after I clicked sub, I went ahead and marked Mega Medicham down for 5 knockouts and marked myself the victor on the dock and everything. Like, I was 100% convinced there's no way that I can lose this game at this point. So he goes for the Sucker Punch and breaks my sub, and then on the following turn I go for Zen Headbutt, and oh, no, I missed this Zen Headbutt, which would have killed him. So on the following turn, it's a 50-50, but I survived the Sucker Punch no matter what. Unfortunately, what Sucker Punch would have did was put me in range of a potential non-banded Bullet Punch. So here he goes into his his Scizor, and I'm on tilt. There's no reason for me to not go Scizor here, or at least sack Haxorus off or something. I don't need Haxorus anymore. I guess worst case scenario is he goes for the Swords Dance, but even then I just go into Heatran the following turn, and he's forced to attack my Haxorus because I showed Incinerate. So then I would go into Heatran the following turn and just click Flamethrower, Fire Blast, whatever move I was rocking, and then knock out the Scizor, and then let Mega Medicham clean up the rest if it hasn't already. So as much as it seemed like it didn't matter because I got the knockout the very following turn, it forced a 50-50. It forced a lot of thought process. I'm sure Corey noticed, how long I took to pick my turns here, and it put me on tilt. While hacks may not always decide the battle in terms of, chess moves, it may affect your mental stability, and I think, your mindset has a lot to do with how you play. Not only that, a winning mindset has, the Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordan, the Tom Brady, all those killer instinct mindsets. That's what, like keeping positive vibes will keep your killer instinct there. As soon as I missed that Zen headbutt, I lost my killer instinct and ended up taking at least a 5, maybe a 4-0, and turning it into a potential loss here. So I'm actually going to stay in here. I can't justify that play there. I can't justify it at all. And he's going to be able to go into his Porygon 2 as I scare out his Scizor. And now I'm going to hard switch into my Tapu Fini on the Hidden Power Ground. He reveals to be Hidden Power Ground here. And I'm going to click Taunt so that he can't recover, not realizing that this was a 4 attacks Porygon 2 with Hidden Power Ground, Thunderbolt, Tri-Attack, and I'm not sure what his last move was here. But I actually didn't notice the Hidden Power Ground during the battle, and brought my Heat Rain in the following turn and was knocked out. When I could have brought in my Haxorus and knocked him out, I would have had Heat Rain around here to Flash Cannon spam and still win the match. Absolutely brain fart. But here's where things get huge. So, despite that miss, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but I wanted to mention the burn here on Nidoqueen. I think I did mention the burn. So here we are back to the burn, and why does the burn matter? Why does this burn matter? So this burn matters because Scizor is at 12%, meaning when it comes in it dies to rocks. And Mega Diancie is at 63%, meaning it drops to this Earth Power here. Meaning if I'm not burned, I win because Nidoqueen still survives here. But I'm burned, so I'm going to end up losing here to a Scizor, a Scizor that would have died to rocks because, Nidoqueen died to burn before. So a miss and a crucial burn, very unfortunate for me, but we still come out of a huge game with just a 1-0 loss in a game where we brought memes anyway. Smart Strike Fini, Life Orb Licky Licky, Scarf Toxic Heat Ran, Spadef Haxorus. We just brought all kinds of memes this match and still come out with just a 1-0 loss due to absolute hacks. The burn on Nidoqueen, and the miss on the Toxicroak really fucked with my head. The burn on Nidoqueen didn't fuck with my head because I didn't think it meant anything because I still saw a way to win 4 or 5-0. Regardless, though, we're going to catch an L here. We're going to end the season on a loss. A little bit unfortunate because we started the season out with 2 losses, and I promised myself I wouldn't lose another game this season. And we went on an 8-game win streak before coming into this match, which would have easily been at least a 4-0 had I not got tilted there. But it had the potential to still be a 1-0 in my favor despite all of the hacks. Had I not been burned, had I just missed, that would have been a sick battle there. Nidoqueen coming in clutch with the Sugar Berry. Scizor at 12% comes in on rocks and dies. Man, that would have been so flames. But yeah, we're gonna end it off here with a loss, and we're gonna move into the playoffs. We're actually gonna be facing off against none other than Corey, aka Munchlaxis or Snorlaxis, coach of the San Diego Snorlaxes, in round 1. So really fun game here. He brought an offensive Porygon 2 with 4 attacks, a sub Mega Diancie, sub Volcanion, and a nasty plot Azelf. So he brought a lot of fun too, and I think our next match will be a lot more strategic and a lot less fun in terms of the actual chess match that we'll play when the Mons hit the field. That being said, good game, bro. Good luck. Well, not good luck, but hope you have fun prepping, and I hope we have a clean game in our next one. But yeah, we'll see you guys there. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Let me know what you thought about the prep on both sides. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.